So we talked about earlier about a new Sony. We talked about PS Vita a little bit not too long ago.
Mhm.
We've gotten some pretty good rumors of. I won't say a PS Vita 2, but we've gotten some strange rumors of a new Sony handheld of some kind, mostly in the form of remote play.
Mhm.
But I mean, I think they're brave enough to put out a Vita 2 if the handheld does well, because the demand's there to a certain degree. They just have to execute on it right.
That's been their struggle. They've always had all their hardware is good. Just
Hmm.
they always botch it in some way, whether it be Vita's marketing or how they
Yes.
handled the accessories and things. Currently, the PSVR 2 is not doing so hot because it's there's nothing
It's expensive.
it's expensive. There's nothing to go for.
Yeah, I mean, Horizon Call of the Mountain is probably the best game you can play aside from that one, and I'm sure Hitman VR has been adapted to it already too. Uh, IO Interactive has been pretty good about their ports and making the game accessible as possible. Can't wait for that 0070 game to come out, but yeah, it's just too expensive. It's way too expensive right now for
And
to be in a VR.
honestly, even if it was just a remote play thing, just I don't understand the concept of it because a lot of phones can already do that. And I get it. Maybe like, oh, hey, if you use this, it's official.
Yeah,
But at the same time, it's like, is it worth it though? Is it really worth investing more R&D in something that's only meant for one thing? Because at that point, people don't realize you're just making a Wii U game, the gamepad. Like that's
yeah.
what the Wii U did.
I think that if I think the thing is that Sony they either already just had it beforehand, like way back when Vita was still either new, or remote play features were when they were experimenting with that. They must have been sitting on that for a minute, and apparently I've been hearing a lot of things like, oh, PS remote play is actually really good. People have been like really happy about it. As far as playing on mobile games, Xbox Game Pass of course does the same thing. Granted, you need like badass internet to like really get it to work right. If you stream on anything else other than your mobile phone, it might work a little bit better.
Hmm.
But for it to work on mobile though, with like really kick ass internet, I'm surprised because how good it looks. On Xbox, it looks fantastic. I haven't tried it on PlayStation yet. I'm a little scared too because I just hate streaming games. Streaming games is probably one of the stupidest things you could ever do
No, it
as a
is.
gamer, in my
And
opinion.
you
But
have every right to be because fucking PlayStation now during the PS3 era and onwards has never been a good service.
yeah, I tried it once back on. I think I was on PS4 and I streamed Final Fantasy 13 too, just to try it out and mess with it. First 5 minutes, awesome. I had no issues, but then someone else got on the internet, and then I started seeing the problems.
It just started tanking, didn't it?
Yeah, by the time the thing caught up, I was already dead. I don't even know what I did that to make me die because that's literally just you're watching cutscenes for the first 5 minutes. So how did I die? And it's just weird.
I
Streaming
think
games will never be great.
maybe if this is just turns out to be just an accessory, like a good, well priced accessory that can do hand like that'll like stream or like not stream what you call it remote play. Maybe it'll remote play the PS5 games, but
Hmm.
maybe as a bonus it can play some of the retro stuff natively. If it
Yeah,
can do that, I think it would be a successful mini handheld.
yeah. My thing with it, or my surprise like hope for this thing would be is they put this thing out. It's remote play exclusive. It's just for that thing. But they make the connection as strong as a Bluetooth one because we've had like wireless controllers for a good amount of years now, and rarely do I ever have an issue with a wireless controller unless I just slam the damn thing.
That's fair.
And if they can get that connection strength to a device that looks like the Vita but better, not as big as a Steam Deck, hopefully, because that thing's pretty chunky.
Hmm.
Then that would be pretty game changing because if you can stream a game to a handheld device with like little to no latency with regular internet, that's a win right there. That's a Sony slam dunk right there.
That would. It's just
It's
I'll
just
give you that.
unlikely.
It's a lot to ask for. It's just really how they go about it. That's always the concern with Sony. Like whenever they're making new hardware, everybody's always like, if it's not, let me rephrase. If it's an accessory or an add-on to existing hardware, it's always a gamble.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, any console accessory is always weird in some way. There's some really good ones out there. Like
Oh yeah,
they had screens that connect to your console, but I don't. That's funny that you mentioned that too because I feel like for PS5, what accessory can you use aside from a handheld like streaming device on the console? That thing is so chunky. It's like with Xbox, you can sit the screen and open it up on top of it, no problem. But with the PS5, it's just so obtuse. It literally looks like a modem with like two pieces of like paper on top of on the sides. It's weird.
don't know, maybe install a dual deck
Man,
at this point. Summon Blue Eyes.
that'd be sick.
It looks like it's strong enough to do that, but like I don't know, man. Just you gotta be worried about the hardware because it's exciting, but it's always worrying because you don't know how much they're gonna commit to it.
Mm-hmm. So one thing I'm curious about too is what's the price of this thing looking like? Let's say this comes out. It's in the shape of a PS Vita, maybe a little bit more, up
Chunky.
to date, a little more thicker, a little bit more, for like hardcore gaming, really good adaptive triggers, really nice screen, 1080p. We'll say match the Switch at most.
How much battery life? Because think about it, it's only remote play.
That's hard to say. You're streaming it, so I'll give you 6 hours, just to be. I'll give you a comfortable 6 hours. That's pretty standard for
a remote play only device. I think that's fine because I think the Switch OLED can go up to like 8 to 12 based on it's a game per game.
Yeah, Vita can actually go surprisingly long too. So I think 5 hours max if you charge it up, depending on what you're playing.
So for 6 hours of solid streaming, I think that's fine. How much do you want to sell me for this again?
If I had to say, so in the case that it does work, I'd say about $250. That would be my ideal price. Realistically, they'd probably do some stupid shit like $350. Yeah.
So I was close to you. My pitch was I think this is gonna be like the price of a Switch Lite, $199.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's on remote play only, and that shit better not be over $250.
Yeah, but we saw PSVR. So.
Yeah, it's gonna be $350, and they're gonna say, "Oh, well, see, there's no market for this. Like the market's there. You're just overcharging that market."
Yeah, I could see Sony easily overcharging on this thing. I only say that much because I'm thinking like high end, like really high end device. Because for Sony to put out a piece of hardware that's not a PS5 Pro is really weird because it's like they have to put out something premium. It can't feel cheap. Like if they go cheap, it's like $100 and then it works like it's as great as they would want it to, then that's amazing. But I just know the realities of like business and just how much it costs to do stuff, and especially if they go the route of like, okay, we're making this for gamers, hardcore gamers, adaptive triggers. That's already going to bring up the price so much.
That's the thing. There's like so many rumors with all these other hardware. So we're already getting rumors of like a PlayStation 5 without the disc tray that you can, or like a disc tray accessory where you can get one with an installable disc tray. That's weird. That's already weird as it is thinking about
for
it.
The PS5 digital edition.
Just in general, like they're gonna make a new PS5 that doesn't come with a disc tray, but that's gonna be cheaper. But then you can buy a disc tray to install into it. It's like, okay, well, how's that gonna affect the digital edition of PS5s already? Really and they went quiet on that. Yeah. And then we got the PSVR 2 that's already like an ass load to pay if you want to get the full experience of that.
Yeah, I cannot believe how expensive that thing is.
And then we got the PS5 Pro rumors, and now we got this PS5 handheld companion piece. I'm like, all right, I'm going to shoot you the best case scenarios with this. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Remote only device, like remote play only.
Okay.
Cannot download, can't do anything. It's literally there just to like, I don't know, play Horizon when you're taking a shit.
Right.
$200.
Okay.
Ready?
That sounds.
It has no built-in hardware, like as much as you want high end. No, $200. It can only stream via internet or Bluetooth for $200. Right?
Okay. Wait. So Vita style sticks or traditional controller style analog sticks?
That's where I'm gonna get you at. Ready? Vita style for the $200 model.
Oh, okay.
Because we already have 3 or 4 SKUs for PS5s. For this handheld, I can expect 2 SKUs for it.
Mm-hmm.
The first SKU is that $200 one. I say if we're gonna have $350 that'll have more of an adaptive controller layout, like you said.
Right.
And it will be able to do PS4 and the retro collection natively. Now, that doesn't mean this is a whole new device you develop for. It just means you say an indie guy makes a PS4 game, right? Mm-hmm. That thing can instantly play on the 350 model.
Right.
That's it. It's not like a whole new Vita 2. It's just here's a companion piece. It can do whatever, but it's not restricted to internet only.
Right.
It can at least do a couple of PS4 retro games natively.
Okay. Yeah, your version of it sounds a little bit more realistic. I'm more in the idea of just either going really high end or really low end. So if we're talking like the spectrum of the thing, what's the range looking like on it?
I think the $200 model that I it's gonna be a Switch model like that because that way it can handle the remote play no problem and be what it is, a mini Vita to remote play stuff.
Right. So I'm talking like as far as getting out of the house.
The one that gets out of the house and plays PS4 games natively, the one I'm pitching at you, that sucker's gonna cost $350, and I'm basically gonna say it's as strong as a Steam Deck.
Yeah, and that's the thing too is like it says handheld, but does that handheld actually come with a screen?
Oh, that's the
Yeah.
scary part. What if it's just something that slides into your phone?
Yeah, that. Oh God, ugh. Switch.
Oh,
Oh wow, just two little Joy-Cons that go in your phone. Your phone sits like in a nice little case, and you just slide Joy-Cons in it. Damn.
See, now I thought I was presenting you the worst case scenario. You just presented me this. I'm like,
Yeah, this could because this thing can entirely have no screen at all. And again, this is all rumors and speculation. None of this is like factual. Even like the source that it came from, I forget where it came from. I think
it's just rumors. So
it's just rumors, but maybe like hint of truth in there. I feel like Sony would definitely be brave enough to put out a Vita 2, especially with the lesson they've learned from the first one. They could probably get away with it. 3DS is gone now. Switch Lite is the only thing Nintendo has for the handheld. Granted, it's still a threat to a great degree, but you know it's not. They're not. Nintendo's not dominating every aspect of handhelds right now. They
no,
just have
right now
one.
they have like okay. So for the first 5 years of the Switch's life, it was dominating the handheld market.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Now that we have Steam Deck and people trying to compete against the Steam Deck, now we have everything. The only thing these things don't have is the fact they don't have the IPs to make them that.
Yeah.
Because the Steam Deck is just taking your existing library, which isn't bad, but there's nothing original for it.
Yeah.
Same thing with, I think there was like an Acer or Asus, that computer company. They made their own Steam Deck competitor, but again, it's just stuff using it on Steam.
Yeah, and it's funny how much like fancier they look compared to like the Steam Deck. Steam Deck's more like just function than anything else, but all the other ones are like, oh, it's still some LEDs on the little sticks.
The knobs, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, cool.
I'm like, that thing looks like some kind of like Call of Duty aliens came in and dropped it on a plate.
Right. It's like, yeah, give them this.
Just, I think Sony is brave enough to make a companion piece to make it to where you can play your games anywhere on the go, or at least anywhere in your house, but not something to develop true R&D resources to make wholly exclusive games for it. Not like a VR thing, because their R&D team's already working overtime with the VR stuff. I don't think they need something else to like overwork them on top of it.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if this thing has a screen. It can definitely get out of the house, but if it doesn't, well, I guess even if it doesn't, it would be able to. But I feel like if it has a screen specifically, it should be able to access your PS5 from anywhere, because phones can already kind of do that, right? So remember what remote play actually is. It's like it's a feature that lets you use either your phone or another handheld that's not the natural device. But you're usually within the range of the house, unless you're on like Sony's other catalog of like streamed games, or just if you pay for the full subscription.
Right.
But yeah. Ooh, bless me. I'm gonna have to edit that out. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm just really curious. I hope that it's as close to a Vita as possible. I just don't know if Sony is gonna do it. And I find it really funny that the moment, like literally weeks after Nintendo announces their 3DS is going away and the Wii U is out of here. Granted, they're not the biggest competition. They haven't been a really big competition for a minute since the Switch launched. But now that Sony's starting to feel comfortable enough to move into making a handheld, because they're calling it a handheld as far as we know. So it's there.
I would just keep your I would expect it to happen. Maybe not now or in the near future. I would just say expect it to happen. Keep your expectations very low.
Oh, they're to the floor.
Keep them like that, and just whatever happens, we'll see. We'll revisit this once we see more ideas. Because right now this could be any fucking thing. It could be the coolest thing ever, or it could be just another failure.
Yeah, I would say when would they announce it? Because E3's dead. PAX East just happened.
They'll probably do it. They'll do state of play or something like that, or just Twitter drop it, something.
I'd be shocked, but if they just
Game Awards even.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting about that. That's end of the year though.
Yeah, December.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it's been a minute since I watched that, but yeah. PS Vita handheld. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below, because I'm very curious. There's lots of rumors and speculation about this thing, and I'm very interested in to see what this thing's all about. I can't wait to see it, and it better be black. I'm sorry, black devices are just better. I hate having a white controller. I've learned that mistake with the Xbox Series X or S, and they get dirty fast, and it builds up. There's no getting around it.